If you're considering to move to Charlotte, this video is either going to save you from a very expensive mistake or confirm you're ready. No city in the country added more new residents last year, but being that popular doesn't mean it's the right move for everyone. 7 specific things decide whether this move makes sense for you. I've been in this market for 12 years and I've seen what happens when buyers skip this conversation. Let's make sure that's not you. The Charlotte people understood about a few years ago, the affordable one, that version is gone. Prices have roughly doubled since 2020. A home that cost somewhere in the mid $200,000 price point back in the day is now worth somewhere in the upper $300,000s to possibly even the mid $400,000 prices currently. It depends on location, home type, and which data source you're truly looking at. And the list price is only part of it. The decision gets real when you look at monthly payments. Back in 2020 and 2021, buyers were locking in mortgage rates around 3%. And at that rate, a $425,000 home was roughly $1,400 a month in principal and interest. At today's rate, that same home is somewhere around $2,100 a month. That's before property taxes, homeowners insurance, and any HOA fees on top of that. All in, you're probably looking at close to $2,800 to up to $3,200 or more per month on a typical home. So at the end of the day, the list price may look manageable. The payment is what you have to truly live with. Now, I want to be fair here. If you're coming from California, New York, New Jersey, DC, prices here can still feel like a break, and that's very real. $425,000 buys you more here than it does in most coastal metros. But if you moved away a few years ago and you're coming back expecting the old market, or if you've been waiting for prices to come back down, that old version of Charlotte region isn't waiting for you anymore. Another detail buyers miss early is how much the cost around the mortgage can change depending on where you buy in the metro exactly. We're getting into that next. First, you're probably asking yourself how all this works for your specific situation. If you're relocating and want a real breakdown, what's your pay, which area fits your lifestyle, and what the market looks like right now for your price range, I'm happy to be that source. My contact information is in the description below. Let's keep going. 2 identical homes 5 minutes apart from one another can have hundreds of dollars apart each month just because of which side of town line they truly sit on. That's because property taxes and insurance can vary across the area. The combined tax rate inside the city limits is higher than in surrounding towns like Huntersville or Cornelius. Both are in Mecklenburg County, but each town has its own municipal rate. On the same priced home, that difference can run a few $100s or more per year. Over a decade, that's real money for a home with the same price tag. Cross the state line into York County, South Carolina, or Fort Mill, Indianland, Rock Hill, and the tax picture changes again. The effective rate there usually runs roughly half what you would pay here. The give and take is a longer commute, no direct rail connections, and a different service setup. You need to understand that before you assume the South Carolina suburbs are always the smarter money to move. Now, the one that takes buyers by surprise is North Carolina homeowners insurance. The state's insurance commission recently settled a rate case that locked in 2 statewide average increases. One hit in June of 2025 and the other lands in June of 2026. In Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, those increases run a little above the statewide average. These are settled and locked in by the state. In simple words, the insurance quote you got 6 months ago may not match what you'll pay at closing. Always remember to get a fresh quote for the specific address before you finalize your budget. And while we're here, new construction communities in Charlotte almost always include HOA fees. Depending on the amenities, you're looking at somewhere around $200 to $400 a month to cover those fees. That number becomes a part of a new construction math we'll cover in a few minutes because It's the line item that builders may not lead with. Stick with me. Now, most buyers aren't adding all of this up until they're already in the process. By then, there's less room to adjust. But before we talk about what you're buying, we need to talk about what it costs to get there every day. It's easy to underestimate the traffic here until you're the one sitting in it every single day. The average driver here spends about 50 hours a week stuck in traffic. That's the highest level the city has ever recorded, and it's a little above the national average. That number has climbed since 2019, and the trend isn't turning around. As I said before, Charlotte is adding people faster than any major city in the country right now. And of course, more people means more cars. More cars means your commute doesn't fix itself. For most of the city, you're going to need a car. The areas where this isn't true is parts of Uptown, parts of South End, Noda, and Plaza Midwood all sit along a narrow north to south stretch near the Lynx Blue Line. The light rail works and people truly love it who use it. But if your life isn't on that line, you're going to be driving. There's some good news though. New express lanes opened on I-45 early this year, which added real capacity for south commuters. And voters approved a transit expansion plan in late 2025 that will add more rail coverage across the metro over the next few years and decade. But that build out is a long-term project, so it's not changing your morning drive currently anytime soon. The buyers who plan around their daily commute, not the one they've tested at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, are the ones who feel good about their decisions 6 months later. Now, where you buy and what you pay each month are connected in ways that go past the purchase price. And that becomes even clearer when you look at how the market is behaving. Charlotte's housing market can sound like one thing in the headlines, but once you're looking at real homes, it breaks into several different markets. Which one you're in depends on what you're buying and where you're looking to buy. Across the region, buyers are still active and demand is holding. Pending sales have been picking up heading into spring, and the core of the market is still competitive. But that bigger picture doesn't tell you what happens when you write an offer on one specific home in one specific zip code. Single family homes, especially well-priced ones in core Mecklenburg neighborhoods near the Blue Line or strong school districts, are still moving fast and still drawing multiple offers. Buyers in those pockets need to come in prepared and priced right. There isn't much room to negotiate on a home that's priced correctly in a competitive neighborhood. Now, the condo and townhome market is a completely different story. Inventory in these segments has grown, prices has softened, and buyers have some room to start negotiating on prices, repairs, and closing costs. If you have some flexibility on home type, that's where the buyer's room is currently. And the location is just as important. The core counties, Mecklenburg, Union, and Cabarrus, remain tight. The softer spots are showing up more around the edges in the outer suburbs and in the attached housing. Knowing which market you're in before you start writing offers gives you a real edge right now. And that becomes even more important when you're looking at new construction. So the builder hands you a payment sheet, and at first the number looks pretty good, better than good. That's when you need to slow down. New construction comes with real incentives, rate buy downs, design packages, and help with closing costs. Builders aren't always cutting prices, but they are working hard to make that payment look attractive. The issue is that the first payment you see may not be the full picture, and that gap can run several $100s a month down the road. First, you need to know where new construction exists. Large-scale building is happening in the outer suburbs in nearby counties. I'm talking about Concord, Mooresville, Waxhaw, Weddington, Huntersville, Davidson, Fort Mill, and Indian Land. Inside Charlotte proper, new land is very limited. What you find inside the city is mostly infill townhomes or one-off custom builds on some smaller lots. If you want new construction and walkable city access, you may have to choose which is more important to you currently. Now, let's talk about the buy down. Many Charlotte area builders are offering what's called a 2-1 buy down. They help fund a lower rate for a few years, 1 and 2, and then the loan resets to the full rate starting in year 3. On a home in the upper $400,000 to the low $500,000, the gap between that intro payment and year 3 payment can be between $400 to $500 more a month. That number you'll be paying for the next 28 years after. The question to ask every builder is simply, what is my payment in year 3 at the full rate with all fees included? A permanent rate buy down is completely different. That's when the builder buys points to lower your rate for the life of the loan. If they're offering that, it's worth asking about. And add the HOA fees we talked about on top of that year 3 payment, because in most new construction communities, those dues are a monthly cost that does not go away. Total ownership cost is the number you need to focus on. Before you sign anything, you also need to understand what kind of city you're buying into. Things are changing fast right now, and some of that doesn't show up on the listing page. If you move to a certain part of Charlotte expecting a quiet, settled city, the cranes may surprise you. The urban core has billions in active or planned development going on right now. It means cranes, road closures, construction noise, and changed traffic patterns are part of the daily life for buyers in or near center city. And you're seeing some of that in the suburbs also. Ballantine is a good example. A lot of people move there for the quiet suburban feel, and now it's changing fast. The Bowl is open, Wegmans is coming, and a luxury residential tower is being built. What it was 5 years ago and what it's becoming are two different things completely. That's exciting if you're buying into the long-term vision. It's also something you need to know if you're expecting the Ballantine you remember. You can see the same thing in a few other spots. The Iron District, a large mixed-use project on the former industrial site between Uptown and South End, is still in early development phases. South Park has a high-rise mixed-use proposal working through approvals currently. And on the north side, Camp North End still has ongoing construction phases even after its recent management transition. Then there's the airport. Charlotte Douglas is in the middle of a $4 billion capital improvement program, including a 4th parallel runway. That runway is one of the most significant new airport construction projects in the country right now. If you fly out of CLT often, plan around an active construction environment through at least another year. But none of this is a reason not to move here. For buyers who want a city with real long-term upside, there's a lot to enjoy. But you need to set the right expectations. Check active rezoning petitions near any property you're seriously considering. That vacant lot next door may not stay vacant next year. The buyers who do well understand what they're buying into and decide if the upside is truly worth it. But even that depends on one more thing, and it's the piece buyers usually figure out way too late. Of everything we've covered, this is the one that counts most in real estate. Charlotte gives you a lot of different lifestyles under one metro, and the one you choose really shapes everything around you. The biggest mistake buyers make is treating it like one single place. You move to a neighborhood, and if that neighborhood doesn't fit your lifestyle, that's an expensive mistake to fix. So let me give you a quick overview of each area so you know what to expect. If you want energy, walkability, transit access, and the feeling of being in the middle of things, you're probably looking at Uptown or South End. Uptown is glass towers, corporate headquarters, Blue Line station, and sports venues, just a couple of blocks away. It's a great life if your job is uptown and your idea of a Saturday night is dinner and a game. South End, just south of Uptown along the light rail, has a little bit of a different feel. Breweries, tech offices, rooftop bars, modern condos, and townhomes. That's where younger professionals move in from other cities usually that want to be. The trade-off in both places is that you're probably in a condo or a townhome without a yard maybe a garage, or a quiet residential street. That works for the right buyer. If the suburbs are more your thing, Buydown is usually one of the first places buyers look. And as we covered it earlier, it's changing fast. You get newer builds, larger lots, and a good highway access. But factor in the commute if your job is in the city, because that drive is real. And then there's Lake Norman area to the north, Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson. This feels different from anything else in the metro. Waterfront, slower pace, lower overall tax bills than you pay inside city limits, and a charming walkable core around Davidson College. This is where people go when they want to feel like they've left the city while still staying connected to it. The honest trade-off, if that, you're probably 30 to 45 minutes from uptown without a rail connection, at least until the Red Line is eventually built. For some people, that's a deal breaker. For others, it's exactly what they came for. So the frame I give every buyer is this: don't pick a neighborhood just because someone else recommended it. Think through whether their life looks anything like yours. The person who loves Buydown is not driving into Uptown every morning. The person who loves South End is probably not shopping for a 4-bedroom and half-an-acre lot. Charlotte has room for all of it, but only one slice of it is the right one for you. If you're relocating to Charlotte and want a real breakdown of what this move could look like for your life and your budget, shoot me an email at mark@albrecht.com today. Some of these price points may not stay open forever. So the sooner we map this out, the better prepared you'll be. I've linked a video here that answers the questions of a lot of people have after watching this. Is Charlotte still worth moving to here in 2026? Or did you miss the best window? If you came in thinking you're too late, that video walks through where the real opportunity still is. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.